Okay, let's get started. Hi, I'm Bill, and if this is your first time dropping into the channel, welcome. So, in this video, I'm going to share another reason. There are several reasons that I sold my ASIAir Plus devices and moved to N.I.N.A. The overarching one is my needs just changed. I outgrew the capabilities of the platform. And this is a key reason. There's several key reasons, but I wanted to simplify how I go about my imaging, my target planning, and all that. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how I'm able to do that now in N.I.N.A using Tom Palmer's target scheduler. So just to set the context, in January new moon, I'm probably not going to be able to get out there because of the weather until January 18th. So it's not really new moon. I'm going to have some moon. But targets I'm interested in are the Horsehead B33, M81, maybe the Running Man. I haven't settled on that. There may be some other targets on my list that might fall in, or some that I have not made my list yet. So anyway, what I would do, and again, this is all focused on my Edge HD8, and I'm moving in a similar fashion on my Red Cat 51 Gen 2, but that'll be a separate set of videos. So anyway, January 18th probably through the 23rd, the weather looks good on where I'm going, way east of here. And so what I'd have to do is I'd have to bring these things up, and I'd have to look and see where the moon is on the 18th, and then on the 22nd, where will the moon be relative to the targets? And you can see that its rise and set times have changed and everything. And I'd have to figure that out. So okay, let's start with the 18th. It looks like I can start with the Horsehead, and I can start imaging that. And then anytime after around 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:58, I could probably start M81. The moon should be pretty much gone according to the moon curve, which is in the light gray. So okay, I'd figure out what time that would happen, and so then I'd go into N.I.N.A, and then I'd bring in, yeah, let's bring that up, and I'd go into the advanced sequencer. I'd go over to my templates. I need a startup. Bring that up here. I need a finish or a shutdown. Bring that down there. And since I'm shooting 2 targets in a night, I would bring my first one is the narrow band with stars. I'd bring that into here. So there's my first target. And then I said this would be Bernard 33, so I'd drag this into here. All right, let's go back to the templates. So scroll down here. Now I need and here's my loops. I like to switch to a filter, take 2 images, or maybe you don't know, but I like the loop feature within N.I.N.A. It gives me an opportunity to cut down on the number of dithers that I do in a night, save a little bit of time, but essentially I switch to a filter, take 2, filter change 2, filter change, take 2, filter change. Here, since I'm shooting stars, I only need 1 of the red, 1 of the green, 1 of the blue, and then I do my dither. But now I need my second target, and my second target is going to be a RGB. So we'll bring in the second target. So there's my second target. Need to bring the target in. Okay, that looks good. And then for my second target, I'm only shooting RGB. Again, 2 exposures per filter of 120 seconds, and then I do my dither. Now, I don't want this one to kick off until I think we said around 23:58. So, oh, that's 6, so we'll update that there. Okay, so we're going to wait for the second target until this time, and then we're going to do our stuff, and then we're going to shoot. And then I'd probably wind up going into Stellarium because I just want to double check. So at 23:58 for what's my target, M81, looks like the moon may not be gone, but it's going to be enough out of the way that I'm comfortable to start to image. And maybe I go up here and moon is totally gone. Yeah, there's the moon behind a tree, so probably more like probably around 1 o'clock in the morning. So then I'd go back in probably, and I'd come into my wait time, and I'd go and maybe I go 05. Okay, so we're going to shoot the first target, and the first target we're going to shoot until astronomical dawn, or it drops below 30 degrees, and then we go back to Telescopius, and we see that it sets below 30 degrees at around 103. So I might then go back into my template here, and if this one is going to fall, the first target, Bernard 33, is going to drop below 30 degrees at, what do we say, 103, then I might go in and not start this target. Okay, so I'm good. It's at, oh, no, I want to wait till 105. I almost blew that. 105, okay, error. And, okay, so then everything looks pretty good, and then I'd probably just go, okay, so let's save this, and we're going to call this, B33, M81, and we're just going to save it. And, okay, I got my sequence now. I think I go through it. Okay. Well, I don't think this is going to be the process anymore, so let's get rid of this. And let's go into the plugin Target Scheduler. So I've not used this yet. I've been hanging out on Discord, Tom Palmer and other people that are using his plugin. Hang out there. There's a lot of information available. Everything that I see so far looks good. I saw Tom do a presentation on the Astro Imaging Channel about 3 months ago, where I first kind of got, this became on my radar. And I said, wow, if this works, this is going to make my planning a lot easier. And I'm not going to have to do all those things with Telescopius and a 2-target template and whatever, because maybe I want 3 targets in a night, maybe I want 4. So what we can do here is there are 3 areas. There are target management, scheduler preview, and then a repository or a database that shows which images you have acquired so far. So in the target management, it is profile driven. So you can associate targets with a profile. So right now I'm on the ASI 533 profile. So I've built some project categories. I have an emission nebula category and a galaxies category. These are totally arbitrary. You can set them up as they work for you. And then within the category so far as I've started to build out my list, and you can go months down the road building out your list of targets that you want to shoot. We see Bernard 33. We also see a couple of other emission nebula. I'm not done building out my list. And then for galaxies, we see a list of galaxies. And again, kind of the two we've been talking about are Bernard 33 and M81. And then the other part is your exposure templates. And then again, associated with my 533mm profile, I have built a bunch of exposure templates. So, and basically how I do it, I just associate, so like this is a exposure of green filter for 60 seconds. This is the HA filter for 120. So I have a list of these stacked up. So now let's go into Bernard 33. So what I have done so far is I've set the target up. You can edit it to bring it in. This little key here will let you import from Sky Atlas and get your coordinates and everything. And then down here are my exposure plans for that target. And I basically want to shoot HA S203, and then I want to do some RGB stars. So I'm going to do 34 of each of the narrowband filters at 180 seconds per filter. And then I'm going to do 60 seconds for the red, for the green, and the blue, and I want 20 each of those. So now we're good there, but where do I get my loop? Well, the way I get my loop is I go into the override, and I can handle it right here, because what this is telling is do 2 of each filter. And then after you run through all those filters, 2 exposures each, give me a dither. And there they are, 2HA, 2S2. This just kind of confirms what I have as far as a shooting plan. So this is essentially a representation of the loop I'm going to do. 2 exposures per filter, and then give me a dither. So I don't think I have my template still up. No. But if you looked at my templates from my earlier videos where I was shooting 2 targets, you basically would have seen that that sequence of 2 filters or 2 exposures per filter, and then after you run through all the filters that I had selected as part of the plan, then do the dither. So okay, let's go back to the plugin. Alright, so that's good there. And then here's my plan for M81. Oh, yeah, I think we're good here. And there's my plan for M81. I want RGB, and then I want to catch some HA. In 2024, for my galaxies, I'm going to see if I can capture some HA. I still don't know what the right ratio is of RGB to HA. This is, you know, the fun of it, right? This is where you explore, you try different exposure plans, you see what you get, and then you refine it from there. I'm also not going to shoot luminous for my RGB targets in 2024. I want to see if I spend a little bit more time on the RGB, you know, how does that compare versus getting the luminous? I know, you know, people say if you're in a hurry, shoot luminous at 50% of the RGB, and that may be true, but I'm retired, so I'm not in a big hurry. I'm kind of saying that tongue-in-cheek. But as I'm looking down here is, so I've got my exposure plan, but I'm noticing for this target, I don't have my loop, or this representation tells me that I don't have a loop set up. So we go in here, and we're gonna create the loop. So we want another red, another green, another blue, another HA, and then we come down to this last HA. After that, we want a dither, and then we save that, and then we're good. So here's the representation of the loop. And so this is really, and then if I want to add luminous into here, say, I would come down into the exposure template, and yeah, let's go back up here. So here's my exposure plans, all the ones I've laid out, and then I would just come up here, and I would create a new template. Oh, got to go into edit, and we're just going to call this L, and the filter would be Loom, and we'll just leave it at 60 just for the demo. Interesting thing here is a moon avoidance option. I don't know enough about it yet. This is something when I'm out shooting on the dates that I'm going to be shooting, I will change my exposure plan to include moon avoidance and then see what I get. And I'm going to show you a way I can probably do this in advance of actually being out in the field and shooting anything. But for now, I'm going to leave that off. And you also notice with the moon avoidance, you get some avoidance separation and width. I still don't know what those parameters mean yet, but I will find out. Okay, and so then we save that. And now, what did I say? M81. Now I want to add a loom into it. I just go into here. It'll put the top one listed here in, but then I can go in here and on the pick list, I can just pick L, and then I don't know, maybe I want 30 of those. Again, this is kind of arbitrary for demo purposes, and we'll just save that. And now my exposure plan has luminous, but I don't want that, so I'm gonna delete it by using the trash can here, and then we're good. Okay, so now let's go over into the advanced sequencer. So you would build this out like you might normally. We'll put the startup in, and then we'll put a shutdown in here. And if anyone has any interest in any of my templates, just leave a comment in the comment section. I'm happy to share them, with the caveat that I'm still refining them, and you got to keep that in mind. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go into instructions, and I want to bring in a sequential instruction set here. And then within that, I want to go down to Target Scheduler. And I want to bring in the target schedule container. And then we pretty much have it. And the only loop condition I'm really gonna use is the target scheduler condition while targets remain tonight. So I'll show you in a minute what the plan is going to look like. But while targets remain tonight, I want this loop down here to run, and you'll see how this loop is gonna run in a moment. And then there's also the opportunity for flats, and there's a lot going on, a lot of capabilities that you could leverage with the target scheduler based upon your setup. And again, this is I'm building this out for my Edge HD8, and at some point I plan to put a Prima Luce Lab Alto, which will manage my Prima Luce Lab Giotto flat frame generator, my LED light panel. So, but just while targets remain. So, And then up here in the triggers and in the instructions, you probably put some of your standard stuff like a meridian flip. I'm not going to build it all the way out here, but we want we're going to want start guiding. Where's the guider? Let's go to the guider. Guider, start guiding. You're going to need to give it an instruction to start guiding. And you're going to want probably in triggers, you're going to want your autofocus triggers and all that. Again, you get the opportunity to personalize it. And then of course you would save this as a sequence, and we'll just call this TS V1 and save. All right, and now we're going to come over to back into the plugin. So we've kind of looked at the target management. Now let's look at the target scheduler preview. So what's going to happen on the night of the 18th? That's probably going to be the first night I'm out there, weather permitting. So we come up here. I have my profile selected that I'll be using. I come in here and I select the 18th. And then I run. Wow, so this is the plan. This is my plan. It's going to run the emission nebula until 19 minutes after midnight, and then it's going to hang out for a bit, and then at 1:19 it's going to start on N81. And so if we go back to my 2-target plan, that's kind of what I kind of manually determined it should be. I think I said I was going to start at 1:05 a.m. at the end of the day, but this is gonna do it for me, and that's the plan. And here's some details of how it's thinking, how it's making the decision on what to schedule. So, this, if you download these plugins and do some exploration, there's a lot of information here. I'm not gonna go through it all, but it's not a black box per se. You have information available on what it's doing and why it's doing that, and how it's scoring. And that's another thing that I haven't gotten into. This has the ability to grade your images and make a determination on whether or not that image is going to be, that sub-exposure will be accepted or not. But I'll do that once I actually start to use this in the field and see how it's grading my images. But that's pretty cool. So, okay, so enough on that, but now let's say, for the sake of argument, it's February now, and I have my target list, and so let's go into February, and let's say the new moon is around the 8th, and let's run. So now what it's going to run is it's going to continue because in my target management for Bernard 33, I wanted 34. Well, not because. Let's see how I can make this. As I image, as the scheduler runs and it's managing my exposures, it's going to build a list of frames or sub-exposures that I've already collected. So let's say if I've already collected 20 of the HA filter for what's the target up here? Bernard 33. We'll go Bernard 33. Well, it'll be emission, and then the target Bernard 33. But if I had already the greater, I have imaged 20 and they've all been accepted, the scheduler tracks that. It knows I want a total of 34. So then if it can't get all that in one night or in 2 nights, then it needs to keep going on a third night and pick that up. So, so let's go back to the scheduler preview. And so for the night of the 8th, this is what it's going to give me. If I was imaging on January, let's go back, January 27th, it, it would give me, still be imaging M81 because M81 is available. Now, what's going to happen as you actually start imaging and acquiring your images, Target Scheduler is going to count down how many remaining of each filter for each exposure plan, let's say, you need, and then it will make its decisions on what it determines to shoot on subsequent nights based upon how far along you are in your various images. So, yeah, this is a big reason that I decided to move to N.I.N.A. I was aware of the Target Scheduler. I can do the loops. My template construction is really simplified because all that stuff in the Target Scheduler just kind of happens in here. And when it would be shooting a target, you would see which target it is shooting here, and then there'd be some information being displayed here, which I hope to be able to show you after my new moon trip in January, where I've started to collect data, and then maybe in real time while this is working at night, I'll record some video to show what's actually going on. But again, this part up here you would just build out as you normally would with a sequence, autofocus things, all the things you would normally have in your template. But this ability to have the Target Scheduler make decisions for you, in my mind, for me, based upon my needs, affords a lot of value. So again, I've got to get it in practice. I got to understand what that moon avoidance feature, what that's going to look like for me, and those type of things. So anyway, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And if any of this is of value to you and you want to say thank you and buy me a cup of coffee, check out the links in my video descriptions. Opportunity to buy me a cup of coffee or make a small donation to my PayPal. No pressure. I want you to know it's there. I never know if this is being helpful to anybody or not. I offer it up for free. It's part of my educational process and documenting how I'm progressing in this hobby. But again, I wanted to let you know it's there. Give me your comments and thoughts. If you're already using this, what are you finding out? What are your thoughts on this? Yes, this is probably more appropriate for someone that has a fixed observatory, and but for me, I go out 4 or 5 nights, hopefully weather cooperating, and I'd just like to set everything up, basically hit a button once I've done my 3-point polar alignment and check my collimation and all that, and just kick it off and let Target Scheduler manage it for me and not have to worry about it too much. And what I like is I'm really excited to see what this template or this database here, because I'm never really quite sure how many images have I taken in a night and all that. So it'd be nice to have a little database of information to tell me what's been done so far when I'm imaging across multiple nights. All right, well, I hope you're looking forward to some good weather in January. Other than that, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for dropping in. See you next time.